Hello. I'm Peter Thornycroft, affiliated with Aruba Networks, as they say in the standards bodies. They're so formal. At the end of this talk, I may be more loosely affiliated with them, so let's see how it goes. Stand up on your hind legs and you're never quite sure what's going to come out, are you? At least my 17-year-old says that. All right, so I have a day job, but a couple of years ago, children started leaving home and, evenings got a bit boring. So I figured I'd start looking at mobile devices and seeing what we can do with them. And this is the result of that sort of boredom, ennui, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we need to connect this darn thing up. Do apologize. Are we going to get any light? Anything? Something? Now, I haven't checked the how much you can see on this because I use very small fonts on my slides. This, I don't know if you're seeing it all at the back, but these are apps. They're apps on Android. The reason it's on Android is if you want to see what's going on the Wi-Fi interface, you need to be on Android, although we live in hope that Apple will sort of revert to where they were. I think iOS 2, we could do that sort of thing. So this is all on Android. There's no reason why it shouldn't work eventually on other devices. So this is essentially to see what's going on in your Wi-Fi network. And I'm really interested in inter-access point handover. So the top part there shows you what the signal strength is in that histogram, and it moves back. Some people say it moves the wrong direction, but I wrote it, and I like it this way. And it goes one drop every 2 seconds. Underneath you see you don't get an SNR out of this, but you get a dBm and a megabit per second. Further down you see a longer, slower graph that shows you in the thicker line the AP that we're actually associated to, and the other ones show you all the other things. And indeed, underneath there, you see a list of all the other access points by BSSID. The only thing that makes this more interesting in some ways than some of the other guys out there who do this professionally is that I filter by SSID, so you can see what's going on per SSID. There are a few little bells and whistles on here. Down the bottom here, come back. Down the bottom here, you can see the handover. Handover log coming up out of the Wi-Fi subsystem, and if you want to, you can go pinging and see whether you're successfully pinging. That little bit up this corner is showing you green pings. Android's not a great real-time system. Green pings are better than a second in this case. So that's what we have on that one. The next one is an SSH terminal. And if you're interested in walking around and doing things on SSH Terminal, this is a good thing for you. You can do a few more things on Android than you can on a pretty dumb terminal. For instance, you can come up with a whole load of canned commands that my friend Colin suggested were useful here. We can put in something that says show user table. We can then repeat it. We can repeat it every 5 seconds if we like, and off we go. It runs forever. You can extract AP names. If I press for long. No, we don't have time for that. So you can run through, and of course you get a log at the end that you can email to yourself and see what's going on. If we go over here, we've got an iPerf function. Just goes chonk, 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 as you expect an iPerf to do. And over here we get a floor plan. So if you're talking to, in this case, an airwave, then you can pull down your floor plan. You can see all the APs. The little red spot there, just down here, is the guy that I'm tracking. You can track yourself. Obviously, I'm not back in Sunnyvale at the moment, so I'm tracking, I think, one of the marketing guys, so I'm not sure. You can see all the APs here. I think he's still in the office. You can make a little heat map from looking at AP to AP RSI measurements. And, oh, that hasn't come up that time. So that's that guy. Let's go on to a second one. This is something we put together for less technical people. And it's something that's coming through, I think, in the industry at the moment. So the idea is that there are all these people out there using the Wi-Fi. We call them users. It's a horrible term. But a lot of them aren't very technical. A lot of them run into difficulties of some sort. And they're pretty intelligent people. So we want to give them some information about what's going on. And hopefully we can give them information about whether the Wi-Fi is doing good things and or whether there are problems elsewhere, as Keith was just saying a bit earlier. So that top part of the diagram shows, very, very simple terms, 3 measurements on the Wi-Fi system. It shows a signal strength, a link speed, and a ping time. I pinged the default gateway there. The bit further down shows what I call the wide area network, which if we were in a corporate setting would be an iPerf server. I've got an iPerf server that I run in Amazon, and I ping it, and I'll give you an iPerf up and an iPerf down. The iPerf down won't work in this case, because iPerf isn't actually the greatest thing to use here. So the idea is that if you're sitting in your coffee shop and things aren't going well on your Wi-Fi, you can pull up this app, and you could brand it Yale University or whatever you want. You can hit the little diagnostic button, and it gives you some ideas about what's going right and what's going wrong in my own inimitable style. And if you think you've got something that you ought to tell someone about, you can pull up an email. It pulls up your favorite email options there, and email your help desk a nice CSV file that gives you a lot of readings about what was actually going on, where you are at the time you had the trouble. So this isn't by any means finished yet, but that's an idea for something where we want to get the user to get some control over what's going on, and we also want to get some measurements where the user is. Okay, last thing. This is something that we've come up with. Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger. I call AP Installer. And a lot of our customers say that they have a particular crew that goes and installs APs, and then they come along with another crew later to bring up the network, and they want to know what's been going on. So the idea here is that we get a record of every AP. And it's somewhat scripted, as you'll see. So we're going to pull up a new AP record there. And there are a few things I can do. I'm going to scan a barcode. I think I have a barcode here. Oh, look. We've got a barcode. This is just bringing up some third-party zebra crossing app here. So there we are. So we have a barcode. And it shows up in the record. We can take a photo, point this in the ceiling, and especially if this is above the ceiling tiles and you're not going to be able to see it in a couple of years, it might be good to have a photo. And you can sort of take a photo down here if you want, something like that, just to show that you are where you say you are. And indeed, I have something a little bit better. So if you've got one of these location engines, then you can pull down a floor plan from that if it's been set up. And is just a little bit, there we go, and then you can touch it and say, oh, we're actually here. I don't know if that shows up. Oh, I think it does show up. Okay, and so now I have a lot of information. I can write some notes if I want, but I'm not going to bother here because we all want to ease springs, and that's a Navy term. So then we can save it, and at the end you've got a list of APs there. You can email them to yourself, and then you've got a record of what went on there. So that's, again, an idea in flux at the moment, but that's something that we think may be useful for people installing APs to give a record of what's going on in the network. So you can have a lot of fun and games with Android. I hope to have a lot of fun and games with iOS a bit later this year. If you have any ideas, and you'd like to see them implemented, I still have plenty of evenings. We've got no more kids at home. Thank you.
Just a question before you turn your mic off, Peter. The first one is available on the store now, right?
Yeah.
And what about the other two you showed?
Google Play Store has 3 of my apps up. One called the Ruby Utilities. There's ALE Demonstrator, which is sort of a client for the new location engine we've come out with. Looks a bit like that.
Too far.
And then there's that one I showed you with the green bar going all the way across it. I call that Air Observer. I'll put a couple more up, I hope, in the next couple of months.
Great, thank you.